Buenos días, hoy vamos a hablar del pretérito y los verbos regulares. Nuestro objetivo hoy es entender la definición de un tiempo verbal y número 2, saber conjugar los verbos regulares en el pretérito. Good morning, today we're going to talk about the preterite tense and regular verbs in the preterite tense. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to understand the definition of a verb tense, and you will know how to conjugate regular verbs in the preterite tense. So the first thing we need to talk about is the definition of a verbal tense, or un tiempo verbal. Un tiempo verbal es un concepto gramatical que indica el momento de una acción, por ejemplo, presente, el pasado, o el futuro. So a verbal tense is a grammatical concept that indicates the moment of an action, whether it's the present, the past, or the future. So if we look at this comparison here, in English, the present tense sounds like the sentence, he eats pizza. And in Espanol, él come pizza. So this little ending of our verb with an S, eats, indicates that the action is happening in the present moment. So the spelling of the verb indicates when an action happens. And as we also know from previous lessons, the spelling of a verb indicates who's doing the action. So not only will our conjugations now tell us who is doing the action, but it'll also tell us when an action took place. So these conjugations are pretty powerful things. So he eats pizza is the present tense. In English, we notice that the spelling of the verb eat changes completely when we talk about the past tense. He ate pizza. So even in English, we have different spellings to indicate when an action happened. So in Espanol, él come pizza is the present. In the past, él comió pizza. So that a changes to an io to indicate when an action happened. So take a look at these 5 sentences here, pause the video, and in your notebook, write down next to each sentence whether the sentence happens in the present or in the past tense in English. So present or past. If we look at the first sentence, I study Spanish. You are doing that right now. It's the present tense. We took a test is a past tense sentence. It happened in the past. I used to play baseball is a past tense action. I am playing rugby is present tense. And I have a lot of homework is the present tense. So the next thing we're going to look at is how to form the preterite tense, or el pretérito, in Spanish. And just like the present tense, there are a set of endings or conjugations for a verb in the preterite tense. And these endings are used for regular verbs in the preterite. So first thing is that these endings indicate that the action happened in the past tense. So if you would want to tell somebody that you did something in the past, you would use these endings for an AR verb and these endings for an ER or IR verb. And the nice thing about preterite is that the ER and IR verbs use the same set of endings. You should go ahead and copy these down into your notebook, as we will be using them a lot in our first few lessons. Let's try some practice. So pause the video, and using the infinitive in parentheses, translate the phrases that you see listed here. You should pause the video, because the next slide contains the answers. So, the answers to those 5 questions: he ate, él comió. We boarded, nosotros abordamos. You visited, usted visitó, or tú visitaste. You all traveled, ustedes, oops, this is a typo here. It should say ustedes viajaron. write that one in there. Ustedes viajaron, or vosotros viajasteis. And the last one, they lived, ellos o ellas vivieron. So you should have in your notes the verb charts for AR, ER, and IR verbs, examples of how to conjugate those verbs in a phrase, and also the definition of a verbal tense. Good luck. I'll see you in class.